Hi there, thank you for joining me for another Dear Sam Horse Help Horsemanship series. This week I wanted to talk about observation. I find a lot of times people get tunnel vision when they head out to work with their horse, and they tend to lose perspective as to what is happening around them or things that may be potentially concerning their horse or taking up their horse's focus, or the horse might have become fixated on it. And because there's a lack of awareness in many people within their own thoughts and their own intention, and then little observation as to what the horse is expressing in their behavior, often as the human goes to ask something, even as basic as haltering or leading or heading over to the hitching rack, they wind up missing all the indications that the horse is not mentally available, meaning that the horse is not present in the moment to address what the human is asking. And so the horse winds up offering perhaps draggy or lethargic or slow or rushed or unintentional physical responses. And then the person winds up critiquing the responses, and then the horse gets defensive. And before we've even saddled up for the ride, the horse is already feeling more concerned and looking to mentally avoid and physically avoid the human, and the human already is experiencing frustration and stress. So something to consider is every time you head out to the horse, irrelevant of what your intention may be, perhaps take a few minutes and step back and notice your surroundings. Notice what kind of day it is. Notice if there's new things that have changed in your horse's environment that may not seem like a big deal to you, but can be very concerning to the horse depending on his personality and confidence levels. Notice if your horse is within a herd, is there odd herd behavior among the members of that herd? Or do things just look a little off or a little different? Notice the energy level, because all these things are going to help you be able to become more specific and intentional and clear and segmented in how you present things to your horse based on where he is starting on that day. And I find what happens with a lot of people is they head out and they have really no consideration for the horse, because to the human they're thinking, we're just haltering, we're just leading, we're just heading over to the tacking up place, as opposed to considering that the horse may not be starting the day in a particularly relaxed or soft or confident place. And so if the human is under the assumption that everything is fine and they just go on without much support or specific communication to the horse, and the horse is already concerned, you can see how this can lead to a bit of conflict, defensiveness, frustration, and probably bigger behaviors that we don't particularly want to see in our equine partner. So remember, nothing happens all of a sudden. Nothing is just random that it comes up with the horse. So if you're finding that your horse is starting to show you defensive behaviors or overreacting or tending to fixate on things, then perhaps you need to step back and break things down into smaller, more specific segments and start to assess just how much of your environment is the horse mentally, we'll say, consumed with or distracted by versus mentally being with you. And if you don't start the beginning of the session to prioritize getting your horse's brain with you, then everything else that follows that you ask of him just diminishes in quality. Thank you for joining me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next week.